Hey everyone, Kyle here from Rocky Mountain Fly Shop. This week we're going to be tying up the deer hair mouse. This is one of my favorite patterns to tie up. One thing you guys will notice is I really love working with deer hair. This is a fun pattern to tie up, and it's even more fun to fish. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, let's get this thing started. So today we're going to be tying on a Mustad C61 Apex streamer in a 1/0. The thread we're using today is from Techstream. It's their power thread in 150 denier, size large. So we come in, lay down our thread base, snip that off. The first material that we're going to add on here is going to be a squirrel zonker in brown. I like to tie mine in, so I'll face it towards the front of the hook, just like so. Nip it down with this finger right here. Take your thread, give it a couple wraps around there just to secure it, and then we'll fold it back over. So not only does this here make it stronger when we're tying it in, I'm looking for a little bump right here in the fly, and I'll get to that here in a second. So that's the first material. Now we'll start with some deer hair. So for deer hair today we're using the deer body strip from Shore Fishing. What you want to do is take out a clump of deer hair, roughly the size of a pencil. You want to take that. When you're working with deer hair, it's really important to comb out your hair before you're stacking it or twisting it up. If you don't comb it out, all the under hair in it can really mess with it when you're spinning it up. So for this first one, we're going to cut the tips off the deer hair, both sides. We're going to take it and we'll do 2 loose wraps. Once we get that done, what we'll do is take this finger, push it over, and pull tight. So we're just sending that right to the bottom of the fly, and that's going to be the start of our belly. We'll take that, just do that, give it a couple wraps to keep it there. Just like so. Then what you want to do is take your thread. You notice how up here we don't have any hair on top of the hook, so what we want to do is take our thread to the top, take our hairs, pull them to the back, and then do a couple wraps in front of it, just like so. Next step is some more deer hair. So this is going to be a pretty repetitive process, but that's why this here is an excellent pattern. If you're just getting into deer hair, wanting to learn the technique of it, there's no better pattern in my opinion. You know, it's really repetitive. By the end of the fly, you'll already be better with deer hair. Comb that out. So with this one, this here is going to be our back on the mouse, so we want to throw this in the stacker. You don't have to use your stackers, but today we're going to stack ours. I like the way it looks a lot better with it stacked. So once we get that stacked, we'll come in, cut off our butt ends. We'll lay it out on the fly, roughly just back to where these other hairs were, to the back of the hook. 2 loose wraps. Then what we want to do is take your thumb, pointer finger, pull the hairs on the top, pull down, and then give that a couple more wraps. And then come to the front. Perfect. So now what we want to do is come in and trim these here hairs off the back, just leaving the tips of the deer hair. Just like so. All right. Make sure that's secure, and we'll grab some more, and we will add some more to the bottom. So with the bottom hair that we're putting onto the fly, we don't need to stack the bottom, as we're going to be cutting those off anyways at the end. And it makes it a lot easier for when we're stacking it with the tips off. Same thing, push down to the bottom, put your thumb there, pull down, and then give it 2 or 3 more wraps through the hair. Sometimes if you wiggle it through the hair like that, it's a lot better for getting it in. It doesn't trap as many hairs. We'll come in, just trim up a little bit of that off the top, like so. We'll grab some more deer hair. Now that we got it combed out, throw it back in the stacker. Give it a couple taps. Come in. So when we're laying out the hair, we just want to make sure that we're matching up to where the last one was. Come in. 2 loose wraps, put our fingers here and here, pinch and pull down. Give that a couple securing wraps. Then we're going to come in with our hair packer. This is a product that Loon has, their hair packer. It's a wicked tool. It's got 2 sizes. One size is for your bigger hooks, and then the other size will be for your smaller dry flies. We'll come in, trim up leftover fur. Make sure everything is secured nice, tight. Just trimming up that workspace. Come in, get some more hair for the belly. Some 2 loose wraps. Use our thumb and pull as we push, and then pull down. Again, securing it with 2 or 3 wraps through the hairs, and we'll leave it on top, pull our fibers back. There we go. We'll trim up these few guys. Back in the stacker once again. Basically, we're just going to be repeating this process until we bring the hairs about up to here on the hook shank, about a third away from the hook eye. And then lay it on top, 2 wraps, and cinch it down. Kind of move those hairs out and secure it. Next we'll come in with our packer again. I like to put a finger on the back of the hook and then one on the front just to make sure that it's all in place. We'll trim out this excess. Perfect. And we'll secure this all down. A few more wraps. And then we'll get some more deer hair. Can you grab the deer hair? It'll go in focus. Thank you. Pull it tight. And give 2 securing wraps. Bring our thread up to the top of the hook. Once again, we'll pull all these hairs back and secure it. Just like so. Come in, snip out these few hairs on the top. Grab our deer hair. Give that a comb out. We'll come in, secure this to the top again. Just like so. And with our packer, pack that down. Trim down all these hairs. We'll give it one more pack just to make sure. You don't have to pack your deer hair this tight. I personally just like to pack mine really tight, especially on the mouse pattern. I really want mine to float like a cork, so the tighter you get your deer hair, better it'll float. So we're going to do one more belly stack and then one more on the back, and then we'll move on to some ears. So once again, 2 loose wraps, push and pull. That'll set the hair to the bottom. Place your thumb on top and pull down. A couple of securing wraps. Trim off that excess. Then we'll add in our last stack on the top. And 2 wraps. Move those hairs around. Pull down to secure it. And get a couple more wraps through. Grab our packer. Pack it in. Come in, trim out this excess. So that's it for the body of the mouse. Now we're going to work on the head. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the ears on this mouse. So what we're using for the ears today is we're using Hairline thin fly foam, 2mm in black. So I've already got mine cut out here. So what we're going to do is we're going to place one over the hook shank like so. Just catch that tip of it for now to hold it in there. And we're going to grab our other one. Do the same thing, just on the other side. So now that we've got those in place, we're going to lay them down with our fingers and then start to wiggle this thread through the hairs and secure that foam down. Just like so. We'll come back up to the hook shank again. And I like to give this a little pack too, just make sure it's all in nice and snug. Sweet. Alright, now we'll come in, trim up any little excess butt end hairs, just like so. Now we're ready for the last part. So, we stacked the full deer hair body on this one. What we're going to do now is we're going to spin the deer hair for the face of this fly. So what you want to do, go in and grab your deer hair, get it combed out. You don't need to stack this this one. Cut it out, give it a good comb through, get all those under hairs out. Come in, snip off both sides, snip those tips off. Then what we're going to do is come in, 2 loose wraps. And then rather than put our fingers there anywhere, we're just going to start to pull and spin it around the hook, just like so. Come in with our packer, pack that back. And we got some room there, we're going to add on another clump of deer hair. Give that a nice comb out. Come in. What we want to do is push this hair here back with our fingers, just like so, and we want halfway mark to be right where we ended off there. And we'll take our thread and we'll do 2 loose wraps, and we'll pull a bit tight and then just let it spin around that hook. And then securing it, wiggling your thread back and forth just through that to get that thread right down to the hook shank. Basically, you want to give it a couple wraps until it stops spinning, and then we know that we've locked it in place. And we want to come in with our packer once again, pack it in. We can even fit one more on there. Some people wouldn't. Like I said before, I just really like to pack my deer hair in as tight as I can get it on the mouse patterns. So once again, we'll take our hair, exposing the halfway point on it, push it back, come in with 2 loose wraps, and then pull and twist, spin that hair around the hook. Get that one more little pack, bring our thread up to the eye, give a couple securing wraps in front of the hairs, and then whip finish. This is usually where the fly ends, but we are just getting started. So give that 4 or 5 turns on the whip finish there. Pull that tight. And there we go. All right. So now our next step is going to be trimming and shaping this mouse. So I always like to start on the bottom of the mouse. Just going to make sure that we're all in line here with our hook shank. We want our shank to be completely in line here for when we're trimming with the razor blade, so we don't go any deeper in different areas and cut our thread. So today I'm going to be using the Derby razor blades. So what we're going to do to start is we're going to come in and just go, we don't have to go too close. One thing when you're trimming deer hair, it's always better to take off less than more, because it's a lot easier to take off a little bit extra than it is to add it back on. Come in right back to the hook. Another one, just a little bit deeper again. A vacuum cleaner is probably one of the best tools for deer hair that you can use. It is very messy, but you do get to shape some pretty cool flies. So, we've got our bottom done there. Next step, I like to bring it back up to the top. Give it a little flick there just to get all the hairs out. And then I always come to the face. So what we're going to want to do is take your razor blade and put it on a bend, almost so like a half circle, and then come in, and as you're coming in, we want to push it up the fly. And just back to those foam ears. Be careful not to cut those ears. If you go very slow, you can pretty well cut right to the ear, and then it'll just be a little bit of scissor trim up at the end there. You should be able to get most of it with the razor blade. just like so. Next, what you want to do is, you see where our ears are right here on the fly? We want to take this deer hair all the way back to the back from the bottom point there. So pull that ear back and then just start to shape it back through with the edge of a razor blade. And then the same thing on the other side. Push that ear back and then just trim right along the side, right to the back. These first few are basically just getting the rough shape of the mouse. Then we'll come in and do the more detailed cuts at the end here. If you notice, I've been flipping my razor blade around the full time too. It's nice to get the full use out of it, and usually it takes about 2 razor blades to do this. I'll do my rough cuts with the first one, and then I will switch out blades and finish it off with a brand new blade. So we'll come in and grab another blade. And then we'll do our final shape ups here. So come in, just bending the blade a little bit, just trim off that edge there. Kind of shape the belly into the body. Come into the face and then just give the final trim across. Next we'll come in with our scissors, just trim up any of these little guys here with the butt ends on the hairs. Alright, so that's the mouse shaped, and the final step is going to be the eyes. So for the eyes today, it's something new that I've been doing, but I really like how it's been working. Is I've been using the UV fly finish from Loon in black, and that's basically all I've been doing for the eyes. So what I like to do with the eye is come in line with the inside of the ear on both sides, and about 1/4 of the way down to the eye. And we'll come in, just lay a big dot there, So hit it with the UV light. Usually just give it enough there to set that one in place, and then I'll get my other one in place there. Hit that with the light. And there you guys have it, the deer hair mouse. Thanks for watching, guys.